Deputy Leader Angela Rayner, who is in Westminster. Thanks very much for being with us. So what do you make of the events of the day?
I mean, it's utter chaos, and looking at the 1922 committee there, they look like rabbits in the headlights. They haven't got a clue what they're doing. And the scary thing is, we could have a situation where we have a Prime Minister of this country with zero mandate. I mean, it's pretty clear they've lost the confidence of the British public, and they just don't have a clue what they're doing. They've got no plan, no leader, and they're trying to cling on to power like somehow being the Prime Minister, forming a cabinet is some sort of game for them when the rest of the country are paying the price for it. It makes me kind of really frustrated and angry because people's lives are being affected by their silly little games, and I just cannot believe the absurdity of what we're seeing and what we're witnessing.
But the Conservative Party rules are Conservative Party rules. It doesn't look, at least, like you're going to get your election.
Well, I mean, you say Conservative Party rules are their rules, but as you were saying before, I don't even think they trust their membership at the moment. And it seems to me like they're going round trying to make it up as they go along, to say nothing to see here and try and just drag any old MP who they're willing to put in front of the people and say, this is who we've got for you, running scared of a general election because they know that the public are the real ones who should be deciding how the future of this country is governed, because they've lost the will of the people and the confidence now, because it crashed our economy. They've ripped up the manifesto that they stood on, and they've done more U-turns than a cul-de-sac. I mean, it's embarrassing, not just here, but also abroad, to see the fiasco, the chaos that we're witnessing at the moment. And they need to put the country first and not the party first. And they need a general election and a mandate.
But you might be coming up against Boris Johnson again.
I mean, that in itself I find absolutely absurd. Their own MPs finally got rid of Boris Johnson after he'd lied to the British people, broke the rules. Chaos, sleaze, scandal that engulfed Boris Johnson's leadership, and now all of a sudden they think that's going to save the country. People haven't forgotten what happened during the pandemic, the fact that Downing Street became the worst offenders for breaking the rules of any other address in the UK when people weren't able to see their loved ones. If that's their solution to this problem, then they're going to get even more thumped at a general election, because the British public do not like being taken for fools.
But isn't the one thing we've learned from this chaos is the nature of the fiscal hole, the black hole, and isn't that proof that you really need to fix your own plan for the economy? And do you accept that you're going to have to look at spending cuts?
Well, we've been very clear that we'd set out our plan, which would, our fiscal rules would mean there'd be no expenditure without showing where that money would come from. So, for example, even though that mini budget has pretty much been ripped apart and U-turned on, there is still the lift on the cap on bankers' bonuses when ordinary working people are facing the squeeze. We've said that we'd end the charitable status of schools so that we could give children free school meals. We've said that we'd deal with non-dom status so that we can get more doctors and nurses in our NHS. We've got a plan. We said that we'd put a levy on a windfall tax on the energy companies, so we're not putting it on the national debt. We have a fiscal plan for growth in this country.
But would the level of spending,
economic sense.
Sorry to interrupt, but would the level of spending in that plan survive contact with the markets?
Well, as I've just suggested to you, and I think it was the CEO of Tesco recently that said the Labour Party is the only team on the field with a plan for growth at the moment. We've set out so far as we can what our plan is, and we've made it very clear to the British public we would not put any spending plans forward that is not economically sound, that we would make sure that people can see where the money's coming from. And we've not even had an OBR forecast or the ONS on the latest U-turn from the Conservatives, so nobody knows whether their plan is in any way fiscally sound now, even with the U-turns, because we've not had that independent scrutiny of what they've come up with. It is a complete
But we are getting
farce.
we are getting an OBR statement at the end of October.
Well, yeah, but we
Angela
had the statement last week, and we've still not had that statement, independent scrutiny of their plans. It's a mess.
All right, Angela Rayner, got to leave it there. Thank you very much
Thank you.
indeed.